On the evening of November 24th, 1971 Thanksgiving Eve, an ordinary-looking man in a dark suit, narrow tie, and raincoat stepped up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon. He gave the name Dan Cooper, paid cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle, and carried nothing more than a briefcase. Airport staff described him as polite, calm, and forgettable. Yet within hours, this quiet passenger would become the most legendary hijacker in American history. A man who extorted $200,000, parachuted into a storm, and vanished forever. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe for more deep dive true crime documentaries uploaded daily. Cooper boarded Flight 305 and took seat 18C near the rear of the Boeing 727. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, perfectly legal at the time, and waited until the plane was airborne. Then he leaned toward a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner and handed her a note. Assuming it was a phone number or unwanted flirtation, she slipped it into her pocket without reading. Cooper calmly whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Inside his briefcase, he revealed wires, red cylinders, and a battery. Whether the bomb was real or not has never been proven. What was real was the fear that swept through the cabin crew. Cooper dictated his demands with chilling composure: $200,000 in cash for parachutes and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. He warned that if anyone tried anything, he would do the job. The pilot relayed the message. FBI agents and airline officials scrambled into action, gathering ransom money from local banks and arranging parachutes from a nearby skydiving school. Passengers on the flight remained unaware of the crisis, believing a mechanical issue delayed their landing. Meanwhile, Cooper sat quietly in the back, smoking, drinking, and watching the clouds drift beneath them. 2 hours later, Flight 305 descended into Seattle under cover of darkness. The exchange was executed flawlessly. Cooper allowed the passengers to leave unharmed but held several crew members hostage as he prepared for the next and most mysterious phase of his plan. He ordered the pilots to fly south toward Mexico at an unusually low altitude, 10,000 feet, with the rear staircase lowered and the cabin unpressurized. The pilots protested. No one had ever flown a commercial airliner under those conditions. Cooper didn't care. His instructions were precise, almost rehearsed. At 8:13 p.m., somewhere over the forests of Washington, the plane jolted. The crew suspected the rear stairs had been triggered Cooper's jump. When the plane landed later in Reno, Nevada, FBI agents rushed on board, but the hijacker was gone. All that remained was a black tie, a mother-of-pearl tie pin, 8 cigarette butts, and the knowledge that somewhere in the freezing wilderness below, a man with $200,000 had parachuted into history. The FBI launched NORJAK, the Northwest Hijacking investigation, one of the largest and longest manhunts in Bureau history. Paratroopers, military survival experts, and local search teams combed the forests. They found nothing: no body, no parachute, no trace of a landing site. Weather on the night of the jump was brutal. Heavy rain, gusts over 200 miles per hour at altitude, and temperatures at or below freezing. Many agents believed Cooper could not have survived, but without a body, the case stayed open, and the legend grew. Cooper's ransom money was made of marked, POI recorded serial numbers. If he spent even a single bill, investigators would know. But for 9 years, not one bill surfaced. That silence only deepened the mystery. Then, in 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram made a discovery that reignited the case. While playing on a riverbank at Tena Bar, Washington, he found rotting bundles of $20 bills buried in the sand. Tests confirmed the bills were part of Cooper's ransom, but the location raised more questions than answers. How did the money get there? Was it carried by the river? Was it planted? Why only a fraction? $5,800 out of $200 was recovered. Nothing about the case added up. Over the decades, more than 1,000 suspects were reviewed, ranging from criminals to military veterans to troubled loners with suspicious pasts. A few stood out. One, Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., a Vietnam veteran who hijacked a plane months later using an almost identical method. He parachuted out with ransom money and was caught. Many agents believed he was Cooper, but facial differences were significant, and McCoy had an alibi for Thanksgiving Eve. 2. Duane Weber. On his deathbed, he told his wife, "I'm Dan Cooper." His past included burglary, prison time, and strange injuries matching a parachute dive. His handwriting shared similarities to Cooper's, but no hard evidence linked him to the crime. 3. Kenneth Christensen. A former paratrooper, quiet and reserved much like eyewitness descriptions. His brother insisted he confessed indirectly. A private investigator named him the best suspect, but the FBI found nothing conclusive. 4. William Gossett, a military veteran experienced in survival, parachuting, and the local terrain. He told multiple people he was Cooper, adding elaborate details. But Gossett also suffered from mental health issues and changed his story often. 5. The real Dan Cooper. Some theorists believe the hijacker stole the name from a Belgian comic book series popular among military parachutists in Europe. In the comics, a hero named Dan Cooper was an elite skyjumper. Did our hijacker use the alias as a clever inside reference? Or was he European himself, despite endless suspects? Theories and confessions. The FBI couldn't match a single person beyond reasonable doubt. The Boeing 727 used in Cooper's escape had an unusual feature, a rear staircase that opened downward during flight. The hijacker knew this. He also knew the exact speed and altitude required for a safe jump. He chose the only plane in the airline's fleet capable of such a feat. That meant Cooper wasn't just daring, he was informed, trained, prepared. Yet certain aspects of the jump seemed almost suicidal. He wore loafers, a business suit, and no helmet. He carried a parachute he never inspected, and he leapt into a stormy wilderness at night. So who was he? A reckless amateur, a desperate criminal, or a highly skilled paratrooper staging the perfect disappearance? The money found at Tena Bar only deepened the mystery. Scientific tests showed the pills likely washed downstream. But from where? And how? No definitive answers emerged. Then there's the biggest question of all. Did D.B. Cooper survive the jump? The FBI believes no. The cold? The terrain? The darkness, it all points to death. But if he died, where is the parachute? The body? The rest of the money? The lack of physical evidence suggests another possibility. Maybe he survived and disappeared exactly as he intended. In 2016, after nearly 45 years, the FBI officially suspended the NORJAK investigation. They admitted they had no viable suspects left, and the case was unlikely to be solved. But they also left one door open if credible evidence ever appears. They will investigate again. Today, D.B. Cooper is a folk hero of sorts. His story lives in documentaries, movies, books, and conspiracy forums. Every few years, new evidence or a new suspect surfaces, keeping the legend alive. The mystery endures because it's perfect. A man who came from nowhere, executed a daring plan with calm precision, and vanished into the night sky without leaving a trace. In a world of satellites, surveillance, and digital footprints, D.B. Cooper feels like an impossible figure, someone who beat the system through sheer nerve and planning. And maybe that's why the world refuses to let him go. Whoever he was, whatever his fate, D.B. Cooper is the only hijacker in American history to get away with it. A ghost, a myth, a man swallowed by the clouds. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive documentary, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Daily uploads, endless mysteries. See you tomorrow.